Hi everyone. This year will mark the 30th anniversary of one of my favourite cartoons growing up, Animaniacs. I adoringly love this cartoon. It's by far one of my favourite cartoons growing up with. As I noticed, the backstory of Animaniacs began as life as an original idea of what its history began. The history of Animaniacs started off all the way to I started, back around that time during development. The writer, Steven Spielberg, who was originally the executive producer for Amblin Entertainment's label, showrunner and series producer Tom Ruegger had led the overall production of what this cartoon was originally supposed to be like. Animaniacs was originally going to be a spin-off to Tiny Toon Adventures, which would have involved around Plucky Duck's siblings taking control of the entire university for themselves. Although Plucky Duck would have been in this show, it's kind of interesting that they had some sort of interesting concept. In the same vein that Chuck Jones and Tex Avery's creations to the likes of the Marx Brothers and well as breaking the fourth wall, the concept felt very interesting. Well, to a typical late 20s to early 30s cartoon concept. The concept of this plot is simple. These characters called Yakko, Wacko, and Dot are brothers and a sister because they always go around doing all kinds of wacky, crazy slapstick adventures. Like, they run to characters such as Ralph the security guard, Dr. Otto Scratch and Sniff, who is a psychiatrist, assistant Hello Nurse, in what Dot hates Hello Nurse so badly, Pinky the Brain, who are genetically altered ultramorphic laboratory mutated rats, continuously plot to take over the world, and Slappy the Squirrel is an anthropomorphic cartoon squirrel who can easily outwit villains, using her wiles to educate her nephew Skippy Squirrel about cartoon techniques. However, new characters were involved like Italian-American pigeons like the Goodfeathers, Buttons and Minnie, Chicken Boo, Flavio and Marita, aka the Hip Hippos, and Katie Kaboom. In the first season, Rita and Runt were true strays that get into massive trouble in adventures. Minerva Mink was an attractive mink in what Dot also hates, starting her own segments without the help of Dot. However, for Pinky and the Brain, they would later get their own spin-off series in 1985, where they would always try and take the road time and time again. It's kind of interesting, but there's one thing that really ticks me off. The show lasted for like a total of 5 seasons and 274 episodes. And its final episode, which was titled Wacko's World, came out in 1999, barely after its 5-year run. Even though we noticed that the idea of Aquifers being set to the alternate continuity, where in the Kingdom of Waterstock, they used to live happily together, but Sir William the Good, he who has died for some reason, Waterstock enters into a state of civil war, taking advantage of the civilization, and the neighboring kingdom of Tiktokia has been merged with water communications with Time Inc. However, Salazar the Pushy, who is a caricature of Basil Rathbone, is wearing a cloak resembling that of rapper Flavor Flav's clock necklace. However, has decided to take over Waterstock and make everyone so poor and miserable due to overtaxing, as they realize they've gone out of business and they have no idea what to do but to make sure that Wacko's wish would come true if everyone can be rich. Although it's kind of interesting, we never get to see them again for like a drought of 21 years until what we got in Pinky and Myra and the Brain. They were forced to team up with a Myra Duff. For some reason, we don't see Plucky Duck involved. Probably this show got cancelled in 1999 after it was cut short on 13 episodes, realizing they'll try and revive it for a new generation for 2020. Although, for its last season will be set on February 17, 2023, meaning that time has probably changed from this time skip. I probably realize it's like Fuller House had a baby sort of concept. It felt a bit too dated in what today's cartoons are like. Despite the solidly decent animation, I'd say I'd probably give this cartoon I would have to tell you something. I am going to give this cartoon just an 8.2 out of 10. I'd probably give this cartoon that ranking of the number that I loved. But that's really all I can say about this one. So, bye-bye!